If you're over 50 and finding the overhead reach to be more and more challenging, you are not alone. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 exercises that you can do to improve shoulder flexion that do not involve any sort of forcing or passive stretching. Hi, I'm Lauren Eirk. I'm a muscle activation techniques certified specialist, certified yoga therapist, and personal trainer. And I help adults over 50 improve their muscular strength so that they can have better joint stability as well as mobility. Now, one of the things that I hear my clients come in with all the time is pain when they raise their arms over their head. Maybe they take part in sports like pickleball or tennis, or just general daily living, reaching for things out of a cabinet, putting your luggage up on an overhead bin, and this causes that shoulder to hurt. Now, typically when we go to physical therapy, and let me know in the comments if this is you, we work specifically on that skill. You'll see people being told to go right to the wall, pushing into a ball and trying to force that arm up the wall. Maybe the therapist will tell you to lay down your back and force that shoulder back, holding on to a weight. Or maybe even you've had some sort of a massage therapist that's tried to massage your shoulder through. Maybe you've had a trainer in the past that told you to hang from some sort of a bar so that you can pull your shoulders out. Now realize, all of these things are not going to make your shoulders any stronger. And what I'm about to show you is that when you have a difficult time moving, it's not necessarily a flexibility issue, it's actually a strength issue. Now, one of the things I want you to notice right away, how are you standing? If you are standing like this, if this is your posture, I can guarantee you that this is going to be one of the major concerns for shoulder flexion. And if you know anybody with really bad posture that's also having shoulder problems, please forward this video to them so that I can help them. This is something that we just don't hear a lot in popular advertising or therapy. So for the first exercise, I am going to show you something that may not look like anything related to your shoulders, and that's going to be involving coming down to the ground. Now, if we come to the ground and we are laying face down, what we notice is that gravity is sitting right above us. This is important. We need resistance for muscles to contract. So if I begin by moving the arms down beside me, tucking the chin, even dropping the head to the floor, you might have to put some blankets under your hips if you're really rounded down. Otherwise, I want you to use muscles in your lower back, middle back, and upper back to try to raise your upper body off the floor. That is huge. From here, I'm just going to very lightly retract the shoulders. Now, this is going to help with what's called thoracic extension. Imagine your rib cage shifting forward as you do this, and then exhale, coming back down. So when you're going into this exercise, you want to hold each one anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds and really work on squeezing your shoulders back and feeling how these muscles perform. For most people, unless you intentionally perform this exercise, daily life is not going to make you stronger. As a matter of fact, these muscles tend to go offline considering the fact that we spend so much time sitting. Now, certainly over time, we could maybe add some arm changes, raising the arms off the floor, or maybe even putting the arms behind the head. But what I want you to work on first and foremost is getting your back a little stronger. Now, for the next exercise, we want to bring in the hip extensors at the same time. Muscles in our lower back, our spinal erectors, as well as our glutes, are sitting right next to each other. When we have weak glutes, it contributes to weak lower back. So I like to start by bringing people into a quadruped situation. From here, I'm just going to pick up one of my legs, bending at the knee, and then slowly moving that leg off the ground, coming into extension, working on squeezing the glute. Now in my program, FIS TV, I go through a whole glute reset program that brings you from isometrics all the way to strength training, but we certainly don't have time to go through all of that here today, but I'll put a link below if you're interested in looking at that program. Right now, I'm just going to perform an isometric by starting to tighten up into the glute, gently holding that for a few minutes, trying to engage that muscle, and then slowly bringing that right back down. And then over time, as you got stronger, you may be able to go into a little bit more of a lever length change, assuming you can continue to squeeze the glute. And then of course, Going from this prone position would make it really difficult, right? Because I'm now moving against the ground and I'm starting off at the hardest position, 90 degrees, trying to get lift off. You could combine the first two exercises by coming into extension and performing glute work at the same time. And you've probably been to some Pilates classes where you've been asked to do both legs and the upper body at the same time. This is all going to be dependent on the health of your spine as to whether or not this is comfortable for you. If you have any specific questions about it, please leave it below and I'm happy to help you with that. Now for the third exercise, I'm going to go ahead and stand back up. Now, if you think about the shoulders, already you are feeling so much more freedom in your body just by looking at your extensor muscles in your back and your hips. This brings us to a more upright position so that bringing the arms over the head is much easier. If you don't believe me, round your back for a minute and notice how difficult it is to bring your arms over your head. But how do I get my arm from here to here? Well, there's a lot of different joint changes that have to take place. Number one, we have to work on what's called upward rotation. And let me know in the comments if you've ever seen the people in the gym work on this with dumbbells and you thought to yourself, why is that exercise even important? Especially females, which are like, we don't want big, upper trap muscles. Aside from aesthetics, this muscle is extremely important. This area, this motion is extremely important to the health and mobility of our shoulders. So I like working with resistance. I'm just going to show you what this would look like with the band. You could certainly do this with dumbbells. You could also do this with body weight only, but I like bands because I can create cool forces going across my body. So if I just take one foot on the band, grab onto it, and then move my arms straight out to the side here, feeling that little stretch on the band, I'm already starting to bring in what's called the supraspinatus, which is a big abductor of the shoulder, and I'm starting to move into my upper traps. From here, I'm just upwardly rotating, moving that shoulder to the ear. When you bring your arms over your head, your shoulders have to lift. So if these muscles are not strong enough, your upper arm will actually bang into a structure on the side of the scapula called the acromion, that chunk of bone right there. And it can actually cause an irritation in the bicep tendon, which is going to eventually potentially cause rotator cuff tears and bicep tendonitis, which is very, very common, right? Now, I definitely would recommend a more full body approach, working from the chest, the lats, the core, the hips, a full body approach, which I take all the time in FIS TV. But this video, the purpose of this is just to really focus just on this motion. And you can see that what I'm doing right now is I'm holding this just for a moment and I'm coming back down because I really want to give my body time to feel what it's like to actually squeeze that muscle. Now, for the last exercise, I want to talk about the idea that the shoulders actually have to roll off of the back to get the arm over the head. What you don't realize is shoulder blades don't just move up. They actually move off the spine. The bottom of the scapula moves away from the spine. And then there's a little structure on the inside of the spine called the glenoid that has to face up so that the upper arm bone, the humeral head, can sit on top of it. If you don't have that, again, that bicep tendon can become irritated and you're much more likely to injure one of the muscles or ligaments in your shoulder. So what I like to use is isometrics, and I play around with isometrics so much on my platform, FIS TV. I've often thought about calling it an isometric platform because it's the foundation of literally everything that I do. So taking an object like a block out in front of the body, you can already see I am rolling my shoulders off of my back. That is a part of protraction, just moving the shoulder off the back. However, the block is providing feedback for me to press against, so that when I do roll my shoulders off of my back, I can feel resistance coming across my chest, and I can bring in a lot of these pectoral muscles that perform protraction. From here, moving into this, I can practice moving into some of these overhead motions, even doing this from a position where I'm lying flat on the floor. But performing this motion, pushing into the block, will actually improve my shoulder flexion because not only am I upwardly rotating in protraction, I'm also working into what's called adduction, adduction for the shoulder, trying to move that arm over the head. Now, performing trunk extension, hip extension, shoulder elevation, and protraction, those four things are going to extremely help you to get your arms over your head. Now, if you're interested in learning how to progress this from a strengthening standpoint, please comment below and I'm happy to send you some specific links inside of my platform, FIS TV. Otherwise, again, take a look at some of the other videos through this channel so that you can see some of the other issues that might be weak, particularly in your core. If you know anybody that we can help that's maybe suffering from arthritis in their shoulder, bursitis, frozen shoulder, these exercises are so important. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed so that you never have to miss another video. And thank you so much for watching.